I mean, I think the fact that he addressed our young people was so very, very important. And the fact that this afternoon he's in the heart of this is our Soweto right here, and he's going to be here. And I've been around talking to people and the enthusiasm, and I mean this is just incredible that black folk, African people, will never forget this visit. They will never forget. And as always, whenever we are given the baton, we move with it. Nelson Mandela has given African people in the United States the baton, and tomorrow we will start running even faster.
This is wonderful for the community to let them know that we as black African-American police officers are very much interested in his welfare, his well-being, and anything we could do to assist our community in bringing us one-on-one together.
Now, what do you think this visit here, what impact is it having?
Well, let me let Mr. Abel from NYPD Guardy, the president, speak.
The impact, especially on our youth, is that you have a hero that's alive. Most of our heroes for the youngsters are dead. Malcolm, Malcolm X, Marcus Garvey, so forth and so on. They only read about the individuals. Now for the first time you actually can see.
Let me ask the three of you, as a matter of fact, what does this visit of Mr. Mandela mean to you personally?
Well, personally, Mr. Mandela is actually the epitome of what African leadership is supposed to be about. You understand that? Him stood 27 years in jail and not bending. You understand? This is what all African leadership should be about. See? So he's setting a pace for all these fellows to come up to par, because most of them are a bunch of sellouts.
What about you? What does it mean to you?
To me, it means that I've been on this earth for 60 years, and 27 years of his life he's been incarcerated. I have a son, 27 years old, and I'm so proud that between the two of them, they share that common 27-year bond. But this man, to me, is a man for all centuries, and he is our prince.
Coming of Mandela crystallized the words of the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey when he mentions the fact that all African people must come together. And the sufferings that Mandela has made for his organization and for the country and for the race is going to be a testimony here, so that all African people here in this country can bring themselves together as one.
We love you, Mandela.
Mandela!
Welcome to New York City, Mandela. God bless you.
To Nelson and to Winnie, I just only hope that we can live up to the kind of courage that you demonstrated to us. Amandla.
I hope one day you be the president of South Africa.
Right.
Welcome to Harlem, Mr. Mandela. We love you.
Hi, Mr. Mandela. We love you, Mr. Mandela.
Free South Africa.
of the fate that the dark patch has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun. Let us march on till victory.
At this time, the invocation will be done by Harlem's premier revolutionary religious prelate, Father Lawrence Lucas.
Let us pray. God, when we look out over the sea of beautiful black African faces and all others who are serious about justice, we do not have to call you to be here. We know that you are here. We know that you are here to bless Brother Nelson, brother who not only by word of mouth but by his whole life demonstrates he knows the difference between a civil rights struggle for inclusion in what is, regardless of how infamous, as opposed to a total struggle for the liberation from oppression and control. And so we ask you to bless this gathering, to bless us in spite of such irony and hypocrisy, by which this great brother is invited to this country by a president who have a long history of association with the CIA, who was head of the CIA for 4 years, who is here under the aegis of a State Department who, together with the CIA, was directly involved with his betrayal leading to his 27 years imprisonment. We ask you to recognize the hypocrisy by which we hear all kinds of verbiage about using monies and holding financial institutions accountable, having a ticker tape parade in the financial center of this country, who more than any other country financially supported apartheid, which we were against, who, while claiming anti-apartheidism in one mouth, is still making banks to be the underwriters of city bonds, giving millions of dollars in profits to banks whose parent companies still is chief financial supporter for South Africa. We ask you to bless the premier political prisoner in the world, who has come to a country in hypocrisy that has hundreds of political prisoners behind bars, and by criminalizing their activity, pretend we have no political prisoners. We ask you to help us to understand the difference in his struggle, which should be ours, that it's not a struggle for inclusion, but a struggle for the destruction of white supremacy in this country and around the world. We ask you to be in our midst because we know you are already there. And we ask you to help us to learn not only from the words of this great struggler, not for integration or inclusion, but for liberation, to help us to understand not only his words, but his behavior, so that we can go and do likewise. We ask you this in his name. Amen.
At this time, we'd like to hear some brief welcomes from the representatives of this particular community. And we'll start first with Harlem's Assemblywoman, Sister Geraldine Daniels.
Good afternoon, and thank you all, and welcome to Harlem. I thought that at the time that I made my speech that the Honorable Nelson Mandela would be here and his lovely wife, Winnie. But unfortunately, the State Department, as Ilaba has told me, has changed quite a bit of things. I did want to even present a check because I think that it's very important that when Mr. Mandela came here, he's coming here because he needs dollars to take back to Africa. And I mean, that is very, very, very important. However, I want to just say welcome to all of you. This is a great day. This is a great day for all of Harlem. And God has seen fit to make that beautiful sun shine out there upon all of us. And I just thank God that I'm able to stand here and make any type of speech, since it has not been easy. We all work very, very hard, and we are certainly happy that they're beginning to look at abolishing apartheid. I just said, look at it, because we thank God that Nelson Mandela was released. He is not free, and he will never be free until all of South Africa is free. And we understand that, and we will never forget it. I will take my seat because there's a lot of people to speak now. I will take my seat. God bless each and every one of you, and certainly God bless Nelson Mandela and his beautiful wife, Winnie, and all of the people of South Africa and Harlem. Thank you and thank God.
We'll hear next from a sister who has a very heavy load in trying to deal with this, keep the pressure on, trying to build legislative sanctions against the racist regime of South Africa. The newly elected, and a person who's very hard working, the Honorable C. Virginia Fields, Constable for the 5th CD.
Thank you, thank you. Keep the pressure on. Keep the pressure on. Let me hear you say it. Keep the pressure on. Keep the pressure on. Keep the pressure on. Keep the pressure on. That is what we have got to do in this city to make sure that Nelson Mandela and Winnie Mandela's visit is not in vain. They have come here. They have inspired us. They have taught us what struggle is all about, and we have got to learn from what they have gone through in order to support their efforts in South Africa. As we continue to keep the pressure on, however, I believe that we have to use what they have taught us in order to deal with the racism right here in our own city.
In welcoming Nelson and Winnie Mandela, I want them to know that I have never been to South Africa, but I have been to the South Bronx. I have been to Bedford-Stuyvesant. I have been to South Jamaica, and I live in Central Harlem. And I see a lot of babies dying of inadequate health care. I see a lot of young women victims of teenage pregnancy. I see a lot of African-American males dying from crack addiction. I see a lot of people who can't get jobs in this country because of discrimination. And I have had to go to funerals such as that of Michael Griffith and Yusuf Hawkins, who died because of racism. So when we welcome Nelson and Willie Mandela, we do not welcome them in harmonious celebration. We welcome them as comrades in the struggle. When you have spent 27 years in prison, there are a lot of people who will stand with you when it becomes popular to be against apartheid. But a lot of those same people who say that they're against apartheid are still doing business with the South African government. Some of them are here tonight. If you are out there and are doing business with the South African government, we are going to find you. No matter how much money you make, no matter what church you're with, no matter what office you hold, we are going to find you. Now, if you've ever watched Arsenio Hall, he talks about a posse. All of you here today are the posse. We are going to find the people who are doing business with South Africa and destroy them here in the city of New York. At this particular time, we want to recognize a person who has been very supportive of the struggles of the African and Latino community in New York, particularly the working people. And we would like at this time to have you hear from a person that has always offered his services to us when we have come in need. Will you please recognize at this particular time Brother David Rivera of the 1199 Union. And Brother Dennis Rivera of 1199, who will never forgive me for mixing his name up, although I know him for quite some time. Dennis Rivera, please.
It's a beautiful sight from here, brothers and sisters. To the South African and world leaders, Brother Nelson Mandela and Sister Winnie Mandela, welcome. It's a great honor to salute you on behalf of the 100,000 members of the Healthcare Workers Union 1199, a union, Brother Mandela, that Martin Luther King called his favorite union for his fight for social and economic justice in America and abroad. A union, Brother Mandela, that serves as a home to many of the activities of the African National Congress here in New York City. And a union, Brother Mandela, that just 2 weeks ago appropriated $10,000 to the hospital workers' victorious struggle in South Africa. And we're making a commitment to you today that before you go back to South Africa, you will take more than $100,000 to the hospital workers of South Africa. In February, I had the historic, incredible opportunity to be in South Africa with Reverend Jackson to witness your first steps towards freedom. Oh, what a joy. And oh, what a joy it is to see you walking the streets of New York. And brothers and sisters, to all of you who are here today, I'll tell you, the same love, the same passion, the same desire for peace, the same intensity that was in Cape Town the day that Nelson Mandela walked the streets is here in New York today. I would like to welcome you, Brother Mandela, on behalf of the 5 million Puerto Rican people from where I come from. Dear Maestro Mandela, and I would like to call you that, here in Harlem also live thousands of Puerto Ricans that are proud of their African heritage and their history of struggle for justice. Puerto Ricans who also regard you as a father, our brother, our hero and our symbol. But allow me to call you Maestro, because by calling you Maestro, I know that I translate to all the respect my people feel towards you. Maestro, our best show of that respect is to bring with us before you 4 Puerto Rican heroes. Regardless of the ideologies that permeate our Puerto Rican history, regardless of our differences, these are 4 nacionalistas that honor us by coming from Puerto Rico to greet you with us, are considered Puerto Rican heroes in the most pure sense and meaning of the word. We are proud and honored to witness today, and for me as a Puerto Rican, it's an immense honor to present to you from Puerto Rico our national heroes, Lolita Lebrón, Oscar Collazo, Irving Flores, and Rafael Cancel Miranda. Will you join me in giving them a hand, please? Thank you. Maestro, all Puerto Ricans and Latin Americans, New Yorkers, are very proud today. As you know and have seen during your short visit, our struggle to achieve peace and harmony through real social justice is still a very hard one. But we're going to achieve it as South Africa is going to get rid of apartheid. Brother Mandela, the world is with you. But Brother Mandela, New York is and will be the best ally of our African brothers and sisters in their struggle. Because your struggle is our struggle, and your success will be our success. Maestro, as a member of the labor movement, let me bring to you the love and respect of our working class, of every woman, of every man that have a dream and work for it here in New York. Maestro, thanks for coming to us. Maestro, thank you for inspiring us again and again. Thank you for allowing us to tell you in flesh and in soul. Maestro, la lucha continúa. Let's keep the pressure on. 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 Thank you.
We want to acknowledge this turn other political personalities are with us today. They were not part of the original program. We want to acknowledge them, though, because we have been given strict orders now that we have to curtail as soon as possible. So I'm just going to call their names off of you. Please respond. Assemblyman Brian Murtaugh. Liz Holtzman, the Comptroller from New York City. Councilman Stan Michaels. The Reverend Ben Chavis. And one who is not supposed to be a political person, but ends up on political causes anyway with a political agenda, Brother Dick Gregory. Sister Barbara Antier, who'll be over to a new theater soon. Someone who's been a fixture in our community for many years, long before the political people found out there was a need for a war on drugs. Mother Hale. And now, also want to acknowledge a brother who put a whole new political position out there in the new rhythmic lexicon. A brother that needs no introduction to our young people, and one that my own children are frantic about, and for good reason. A brother that would be able to welcome Nelson Mandela to the Terror Dome, Brother Chuck D.
Even though we ain't allowed to talk, I got Sister Lisa Williamson by my side, who's putting a lot of work right here on the same block our great heroes and leaders have put through on this same street, uptown New York, for the last 100 years. And I should say, even though they banned us from Yankee Stadium, to hell with them. And this is the place to be, and they're trying to stop us from talking here, but that's all right. 1990s, if we do the right thing, it won't be a terror dome. If we do the wrong thing, welcome to the Terror Dome. And if they do the wrong thing, welcome to the goddamn Terror Dome.
Chuck D, public enemy, brothers and sisters. At this particular time, since you just heard from youth, we want you to at least recognize some of our elders. And I'd like for you to show the respect that youth need to have for elders by introducing you somebody who needs no recognition from anybody to be justified. You know, Fanon said that the Negro needs white approval. But when we're talking about the approval of African people for the African struggle. And on this historic corner, where many of us have spoken in the past about this issue, we'd like for you to recognize a sister, a woman, a mother who's played a critical role in our struggle at 92 years old, Queen Mother Moore. Mother Moore will speak to you when she dedicates the tree planting. So, because we want to move the time along, acknowledge Queen Mother Moore again, and we want to bring her back when it's time for the tree planting. At this time, we'd like to acknowledge a man who has been in our struggle alongside Dr. Martin Luther King, and who's been responsible even before that, the days of Marcus Garvey, like Queen Mother Moore, and who has been responsible for a lot of the activity around the anti-apartheid movement, particularly the 1986 huge demonstration in Central Park, and a man who is the co-chair of the Nelson Mandela New York Anti-Apartheid Welcoming Committee, Brother Cleveland Robinson. Brother Cleveland Robinson is involved in this struggle for many, many years. And we appreciate what he has done, including what he has done to bring about this glorious gathering. We've also like to acknowledge among us this evening our comrades from the solidarity movement that we believe, like the ANC, is akin not only to the South African liberation struggle, but the struggle of African people in this community, our brothers and sisters from the Palestine Solidarity Committee.
Amanda! Power to the people! Power to black people! I came to give you an address from the political prisoners held captive in the dungeons of the United States. They do not want me to give you this address. They want me to talk before Mandela shows because they do not want our South African brothers to know that there are black political prisoners here in the United States. They have carried Mandela to City Hall, where Governor Cuomo eulogized him as a freedom fighter who overcame adversity. Governor Cuomo has 15 political prisoners in the Department of Correction in New York State. The same government that tried to kill Mandela now guards him. And I ask you, black people, African American people, should Mandela hear what political prisoners have to say? I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Therefore, I will not speak till my comrade Mandela comes. Brothers and sisters, brothers and sisters, if you're quiet, we can continue. We have to acknowledge
at the dawning of this century, Dr. Du Bois, with great foresight, predicted that, quote, the problem of the 20th century is the problem of the color line, unquote. As we enter the last decade of the 20th century, it is intolerable and unacceptable that the cancer of racism is still eating away and the fabric of societies in different parts of our planet. It remains one of the most important global issues confronting all humanity, black and white. It is a struggle that must involve people of all walks of life. It is a struggle that must involve people of different colors, religion, and creed. All of us, descendants of Africa, know only too well that racism demeans the victims and dehumanizes its perpetrators. Racism, we must emphasize, pollutes the atmosphere of human relations and poisons the minds of the backward, the bigoted, and the prejudiced. On my way from the airport to the streets of New York yesterday, a slogan on the sweatshirt of a young woman moved me. It said, quote, "Black by nature, proud by choice," unquote. The oppressed people of South Africa, living in a country in which institutionalized racism permeates every pore of our lives, and even in death, since we have segregated cemeteries, acutely sensitive to the pain and injuries suffered by people of color. It should therefore be clear that all anti-racist fighters, wherever they may be, will always find a friend and an ally in our people, in our movement, the ANC. For us, the struggle against racism has assumed the proportions of a crusade. We, all of us, black and white, should spare no effort in our struggle against all forms and manifestations of racism, wherever and whenever it rears its ugly head. The revolt of our people continues in the light of our party. Our struggle is a struggle to erase the color line that all too often determines who is rich and who is poor, that all too often decides who lives in luxury and who lives in squalor, that all too often determines who shall get food, clothing, and health care, and that all too often decides who will live and who will die. We continue to live in a country enslaved by apartheid. The vote, the land, economic wealth and power remain a monopoly of the white minority. The only monopoly blacks have is the monopoly of ghettos, of deprived and suffering children, the monopoly of millions of unemployed, the monopoly of urban slums, rural starvation, low wages, and the bullets and clubs of too many trigger-happy police. But, my dear brothers and sisters, comrades and friends, I am here to report to you that due to the enormous sacrifices of our people and the solidarity and support of people like you and the international community, apartheid is nearing its end. We are on the threshold of momentous changes. Last month, at the initiative of the ANC, we met with President de Klerk and his colleagues. It was not a meeting of master and servant. It was a meeting of equals. At that meeting, we reached an agreement on removing those obstacles harboring the creation of a climate conducive to negotiation. We are confident that the agreement can be implemented in full as a matter of urgency. Equally, we are confident that you will continue to support us in this fight. Let me say with all sincerity that we do not doubt the integrity of President de Klerk and his colleagues. Equally, we welcome the moves to repeal certain racist legislation and the state of emergency in the greater part of our country. Yet until the agreement has been implemented in full and there is profound and irreversible change, international pressure must be intensified and sanctions maintained. Keep the pressure on apartheid. Keep the pressure on apartheid. It is regrettable that in South Africa there is still a minority of a minority violently and vehemently opposed to a negotiated resolution of the conflict. Too many of them are heavily armed. Too many of them are to be found in the police force. Too many of them are mobilized and organized into paramilitary formations. They have the capacity and it seems the will to commit unspeakable atrocities. But they will not deflect us from our chosen path. For our part, we understand and are sensitive to the fears about the future of many of our white compatriots. The ANC is profoundly committed and determined to do all we can to demonstrate that they have nothing to fear from a non-racial, non-sexist democracy. That indeed, only in a non-racial, non-sexist, united and democratic South Africa will they be freed from the prison that is the apartheid system. The ANC and the mass democratic movement represent an unequaled diversity of cultures, languages, religion, tradition and class. I am happy to report to you that there are increasing numbers of whites who not only realize that apartheid is unjust and a crime, but who are ready to be in the same trenches as their fellow black sisters and brothers. As the struggle intensifies, the social base of the present government will be reduced and more whites will join the ANC as equals with equal duties, obligations, and responsibilities. We are on the verge of victory, but the last mile on the freedom road could prove to be the most difficult and the most intractable. Thus our struggle cries out for organization, discipline and unity. Struggle which does not strengthen organization can lead to a blind alley. Struggle without discipline can lead to anarchy. Struggle without unity enables the other side to pick us off one by one. We are therefore deeply involved in trying to bring about the unity in action of all those opposed to apartheid. Any individual, any group, any organization that seeks genuine unity in action will find a ready partner in the ANC. We are fighting for a democratic South Africa. This means, first and foremost, one person, one vote, on a non-racial voters' roll. On this, there can be no compromise. For us, political power should be the basis for the economic empowerment of people. It is outrageous that in the richest country on our continent, with its vast economic resources, that millions should be deprived of the basic necessities of life. The gap between the have and the have-not, black and white, is totally unacceptable. Any new democratic state must address this historic injustice as a matter of urgency. It also means that we are irrevocably committed to realizing a society in which the fruits of our people's labor shall be distributed equitably, that the striking imbalance between the wealth of the minority and the poverty of the majority has to be addressed. To bring an end to this old and just iniquitous social order and bring into being a new one, characterized by the notions of justice and equity, requires that we address the question of the enormous economic power wielded by and concentrated in the hands of a minority. Brothers and sisters, comrades and friends, victory is in sight. The light at the end of the tunnel is now beckoning, but we are not yet there. To reach the end of the tunnel requires that we intensify the struggle on all fronts. It requires that we make the necessary sacrifices. It requires that we remain unrelenting in pursuit of our goals. The masses of our people, of our country, are ready for the final battle. Let me assure you, they will not flinch from that last battle. It is their heroism, courage, and unquenchable fighting spirit which has earned them the respect and admiration of the international community. Our people symbolize the spirit of resistance and no surrender. Let me also assure you that the ANC will never be found wanting. Let me assure you that the ANC will never rest until we have accomplished our goals. This is the pledge that I make on behalf of all the freedom fighters in the ANC. Brothers and sisters, comrades and friends, victory is in sight. The light at the end of the tunnel is now beckoning, but we are not yet there. To reach the end of the tunnel requires that we intensify the struggle on all fronts. It requires that we make the necessary sacrifices. It requires that we remain unrelenting in pursuit of our goals. The masses of our people, of our country, are ready for the final battle. Let me assure you, they will not flinch from that last battle. It is their heroism, courage, and unquenchable fighting spirit which has earned them the respect and admiration of the international community. Our people symbolize the spirit of resistance and no surrender. Let me also assure you that the ANC will never be found wanting. Let me assure you that the ANC will never rest until we have accomplished our goals. This is the pledge that I make on behalf of all the freedom fighters in the ANC. Brothers and sisters, comrades and friends, I am here to claim you because in the 27 years of my imprisonment, and indeed throughout the life of the ANC, you have claimed our struggle. There is an umbilical cord that ties us together. So let us act in unity. Let us double